I've watched tons of your Valuetainment stuff, and I'm amazed at what God-given talent you have to have all that knowledge. I want to know what the favorite of all time interviews you had. I saw not the one with your father, but I love that too. Okay, because I cried and I laughed at your dad. You tell me the story. That's funny. Sitting at the bar with Rachel McAdams and Natalie Woods. Won't you share that story with these guys?
My dad's watched Notebook probably a few hundred times. My dad is a crazy Natalie Wood guy. Anyways, but I would say my favorite interview is probably Kobe, because we have a relationship and we have a connection together from what era he comes. It would probably be Kobe. Then probably a couple of these mob stuff that I do and some of these military guys. This FBI, CIA stuff is very intriguing to me. I don't know why. My dad till today, my dad the other day, I don't know if you guys know the story or not, but 3 years ago, Mario knows the story. My dad said, I want to take you out. I said, yeah, let's go out. My dad doesn't say I want to take you out. He says, you can tell me. I said, no, you can tell me. I said, what are you talking about? You can tell me. How long? How long what? How long have you been with the CIA? By the way, that's the most nicest. I said, Dad, I'm not. I said, just wink. Wink. I said, Dad, I'm not winking. I'm not. CIA. It's so funny. Because he's like so curious about this stuff. He thinks his son is CIA. I'm like, your son is the furthest thing from CIA, yes.
I have a two-part question. I'm curious how you integrate your spiritual beliefs into your daily activity. And with that, I also would like to know how you see the relationship between thoughts, things, and how you project your thoughts into actually creating what you want to create.
Good question. So I'm probably, I'm a very weird relationship with the man upstairs. 25 years I was an atheist. I didn't believe in God. When you live in Iran and you see what happens, you have a hard time believing in God. So I fought him a lot. We had a lot of fights. But in the Army, when I was at Fort Jackson, they took a handful of us to go to a camp. And the camp at that time, you had to go to this man's house and you had to read the Bible with them for an hour every night. They can't do that stuff today, by the way, but they did 30 years ago, 20 some years ago. And so this man is praying. I'm like, oh my gosh, please stop. I really, you think this Bible stuff is necessary? What are you talking about? At the end, when he's done, we could go play pool, billiard, or jump in a lake, all this other stuff. It ends. We're supposed to go back to our unit. And he says, can I talk to you, son? I said, yeah, sure. He says, this Bible was given to me December 24th, 1974. My parents gave this Bible to me. I think you need it more than I do. I have it till today, by the way. I'm like, sir, I'm telling you, you're giving it to the wrong guy. He says, I don't think so. I think I'm giving it to the right guy. It's a pretty creepy situation there if you don't believe in God. It's kind of like you're worried about it. As a kid, I didn't want to pray because I thought God would answer prayers and his voice is so deep. So I'm like, I don't want him to answer my prayers. Hey, Patrick, I'm not praying. So anyways, so I go back, I'm like, it's a nice gesture by this man. You know what? I'm going to pray 3 times a day. Here's my prayer. Hey, God, I don't think you exist. I think it's fake. But if you're real, you're going to listen to my prayers. If you're not, it feels good talking anyways. I'm okay with it. That's how my prayers got started. 3 times a day, right? Later on, I think January 20th of 2004, I became a born again at Shepherd of the Hills. And prior to that year, I went and studied Jehovah's, 7-Day, LDS, Scientology, Judaism. I just went I would go and debate these people. I'm I would debate people at Scientology church. Who's God? Who do you think is God? I'm asking you. Well, who do you think is God? You tell me who's God. Who do you think is God? Can't you already give me an answer? Who's God? You answer it. Who do you think is God? God is whoever you think it is. What does the Church of Scientology think? Who is God? Answer the question. It's whoever you think it is. So then I look at Scientology and said, this is some of the stuff they teach is very effective. But it's not a religion. They only have a religion tax code because it's tax write-off at the end of the day. And he was able to pull it off because he had the best attorneys. But the concepts, it's not. So I got that curious about this stuff. I'm not trying to go because he's probably thinking right now, we're getting too spiritual right now. Let me give you the other part of it. My life, my day-to-day life. I'm the guy that knows I'm tempted 24/7 and I need more help. I always had 4, 5, 6 assistants because one was never enough for me because I'm not organized. My brain may need organization, but I'm not organized. My closet is organized not because I organize it. Believe me, my room would never be organized because of me. It's organized because somebody helped me. Billy Graham said something very interesting one time that stayed with me. He said, I don't know what year it was. This is when pastors were getting caught with a lot of girls. I don't know if you know what story this is. I'm not going to name the pastors, but you guys know some of the ones what I'm talking about. So he said, we no longer go to hotels and travel with just one other associate. Why? We do 3. Why 3? He says, because if you're with one other, we can convince each other to do something stupid. But with 3, typically one person will say, it's probably not a good idea, right? So then, some of these things you start trying to apply because, you get a lot of that stuff that happens, and we have a lot of people around us that will constantly try to humble you as you make money. But at the same time, I don't have a standard of walking on water. So if somebody imposes that kind of pressure on me, I don't accept it. I don't know if that makes sense or not, because I've seen people go from that environment as well. It's so extremely judgmental that you're almost like immobilized and you're so afraid, so you're walking on eggshells. I'm not a fan of that. I don't raise my kids that way, and I don't like people to impose their perfection, whatever spiritual beliefs they have on me. I have a relationship with God. I love my relationship with God. It's changed my life, but it's my relationship with God and I'm very happy with it. Very happy with it, yes.
When you were scaling your business in insurance, what part of you had an attitude of, I don't give a crap what you think and what you say, what you're doing, of like Tim Grover, how Tim Grover thinks and acts, and how much of you played along to get along, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so I give a crap.
Because I really struggle with that of like, and probably a lot of us struggle with that, is like, I don't want to rub people the wrong way, but I also don't want to be too soft.
Let me ask you a question. Are you a good person?
Yes?
Do people's lives change for the better if they're friends with you?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Because they're always in a better place after I leave.
Give me a couple stories. Give me a couple names. Who?
I had a guy I work with, and I made him train with me, do the daily sales training. His numbers went up. He made more money than he's ever had before in his life.
You got brothers and sisters?
I've got one brother.
You a good sibling?
I don't talk to my brother much.
Are you a good son?
Yes.
Do you have friends?
Yes.
Are you a good friend?
Yes.
Do you do good things?
Yes.
Okay, so for me, I start off with, first, I'm a good person. I have good intentions. I'm not perfect, but I'm generally a good person for myself. And I believe that. So whatever you say, that's not going to change this core belief of who I am. Now let's set that part aside. Let's talk about haters. I listen to experienced haters. Let me unpack what that means. If you're somebody that just wants to comment something on Valuetainment and you're a troll, now if somebody says, hey Pat, your thumbnails aren't as good lately, I'll pay attention to it. Let's go look at the thumbnails. If one of my enemies, points out, like at the beginning, Pat's a one-man show, he has no C-suite executives. This was one of my competitors. Guess what? He's right. Pat only has one insurance carrier. If they drop him, he's out of business. That's not a hater. That's a qualified criticism. He's right, so I take it, right? So this whole I don't care attitude, it's good for Instagram, but I guarantee you Jordan cares a lot about why George Carl walked out of the restaurant without saying hi to him. That's not, I don't care what George Carl thinks. That's, he cares what George Carl thinks. The fact that you disrespect me walking out without talking to him, I'm going to destroy you tonight. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I go to that part. So I do receive feedback regularly, both from people I trust and my competitors. But do I let it hurt me from sleeping at night? I sleep so good at night. In 13 I didn't. In 2013 and 2014 I didn't. I had 2 guys in my company who made my life a living hell in my own company. And what I did is the following. I tried to please them, to make them happy, because I was so worried about losing them. And one day, I sat both of them down and I said, I want you guys to know one thing. I know this business better than both of you. But you guys in the last 18 months have convinced me that you know it more than I do. And not a single number shows that you know this business better than I do. I've raised you guys the wrong way. You guys have both become cocky. That's my fault. Both of you are arrogant. That's my fault. I've built you up in the way without saying the last magical word in the sentence, which is what? If. Here's what I would say. You're going to be the greatest of all time. You're going to be the best. You're amazing. But I didn't finish the sentence with what? If you do ... That's my fault. I'm going to change. But I'm going to give you guys a 2-year break. I'm going to go find a couple new people, and unfortunately, they're going to destroy you guys in the business. And you guys will be left behind.
How did that keep you?
That is authentic. That is me.
Hey, also, too, do we want to do a couple more questions instead of pictures? Because he's limited on time. I want to be very respectful.
I got a
okay?
flight, so
One question.
go for it.
You started in, obviously, the security side of the business, and now you're very successful in insurance. To the agents here that are not duly registered, because I'm duly registered, but I'm not in the industry today, what would you tell them as a way to make more money and basically, you know, the old excuse, oh, you're leaving so much money on the table?
Well, I'm going to tell you something you're not going to like, though. So just so you know, I'm Series 7 till today. I'm 7/31/26, life and health, 66 till today. All registered till today. You can go on FINRA and find me. I think you got to be careful with securities moving forward. Elizabeth Warren is going to get her way eventually. Let me put it to you guys this way. In the next 20 years, AOC is going to run for president. And just know that one of these socialists is going to win. And BD is regulation at the highest level. And BD slows everything down. So
Everything you said till you said.
yeah, well, I know, like I told you, you're asking me the questions. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. Now, let me flip it on you. 65 business, I'm all for it. I'm not for the other business. 65 is still left alone. Because 65 is not for everybody, by the way. You don't want to get everybody to get their 65. Some people don't even know what the hell they're doing. Why would I let you get your 65? 65 is for somebody that's got a market, a little bit more sophisticated. But getting greenies to be selling mutual fund stocks, bonds today, using words like guarantee today, my opinion, may be wrong. I'm not a big fan
Do you
of
see an
that.
event like Cody has established for insurance being as successful on the security side of the industry as well?
You'd be walking on eggshells having to get everything approved. So, I'm a marketer, yeah.
That's a good point. And one minute. Okay, so last question.
What are your top 2 legacies you want to leave for the next 2 generations?
I can't tell you, buddy. I'm being honest with you. I'm telling you, I can't tell you. No, because you guys are gonna think I'm a little weird. I can't tell you.
Give me one.
I can't tell you. I
Give me
can't.
one.
Here's what I will tell you. Hear me out. All I'm gonna tell you is, I really believe the man upstairs is looking for some people who are not afraid to bully the bully, and I'm fully qualified. I swear to God, I'm fully qualified.
Actually, last one here.
You mentioned before that real estate was your thing. You just poured it to your business. So us coming up, we're making a lot more money. So we've been thinking about, should we put our money to real estate to start trying to get assets that produce cash flow, pour it to our business, or is that a next file move later down the line? What's your take on that?
I'm not that guy, man, because it takes so much time. One day my guys come out to me from my best friends. They're like, hey, let's buy these 5 properties. It's going to give us a cash flow of $8,000 a month. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. I'm like, you know what? No. Why? No. I don't want that attention to go elsewhere. I want to be maniacal about 1 or 2 things I'm running. Every time we went to dinner, you know what they all bitched about? Renters. I'm like, this is exactly why I don't want to do what you do. So I don't want to think about those renters. 20 years later, if I ever do, I have a whole team of 20, 30 people that do it, and you don't call me one time. All I want to know is the money. Don't bother me. Right now, I'm in this game. My next game is media. And that's it. Then I got a couple other after that, depending on health. But my next game is media. Yeah.
Okay, give it up for Patrick.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're gonna love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. Boom. Hey, one of the biggest things I get asked, man, is, dude, how do I go from 0 to 6 figures? And I'm gonna talk through some of the stuff in the book right now of how you can do this, because you can. I'm telling you, if I did it, you can too.